Overheard, my 26 male, fiancé 24 female tell her friend on the phone that she settled for being with me and that marrying me was her last resort. Update 2. Just did one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Today after breakfast, I told her we should sit down and talk. She was hesitant, but I said it was important. We went to the living room and she said to me, I already know what this is about. My post apparently made it to the front page, so of course she saw it after scrolling down a bit under popular. Of course, the waterworks started happening right away. I told her what she said had deeply hurt me. But obviously, she already knew that since she read my post. Through her tears, she said, I was just joking. I wasn't serious. So then went on saying stuff like, I love you, I love you. I told her I can't be in a marriage where my SO doesn't love me the same way I love them. She tried to tell me that she loved me and that I meant something to her. But it was all bullshit. She said she didn't want to lose me. I told her I don't think this marriage was the right decision. And from there, I basically told her it was over. I told her I knew how she really felt about me and that it was fuck you she basically played with my emotions. For all those wondering, we have no kids, and I pay fully for the apartment we live in, and I own almost everything we have other than her clothes. I even pay for her car. So after all of this, she'll have little nothing to left. Before our marriage, we agreed to sign a prenup, and at that moment, I've never been so happy with a decision I've made in my life. After that, it was a few seconds of awkward silence before she said to me, fuck you. She started screaming and telling me, you just can't end things like that. I told her I could do whatever I wanted, and that's when she became very hostile. She screamed at me saying, you're the fucking worst relationship I've ever been in. You think I can't find someone again? Do you think you'll ever from someone as good as me? You're a fucking idiot. She grabbed her bag and phone and said, I'm leaving, before slamming the door behind her. At that moment, I felt like I was on one of those dramatic sitcoms you'd find out of TV. I sat down on the couch and cried, and I'm still crying as I type this up. It's both happy and sad tears, and I knew it was only time before she cheated on me or left me. She never loved me. It was obvious. Our relationship only went one way, and I feel like a complete idiot for not seeing it earlier. I live in California and I'm going to start the process to annul our marriage. Tomorrow, I'm going to start throwing all of her belongings into a trash bags. 'Cause that's essentially where they belong. I'm not throwing out her stuff, just using a trash bags as a way to give her back the thing she owns. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your kind words and your great advice. All of you gave me the courage to stand up for myself, and I know my life will certainly improve as a result. Edit/update. Thanks everyone for the kind words. Really has made me feel a lot better. Going to be talking to her soon. Also, I notice a lot of people thinking this post is fake. I understand how it can be seen that way, but it isn't. I've been engaged to her for over a year and a half, and just 3 months ago, we got married. Not really used to calling her my wife yet. Also, I used an old out since she uses Reddit. Anyways, thanks for the advice, everyone. It amazes me how people on the internet can care so much about a person they don't even know. I'm going to talk to her today. I will be updating you all soon after. Basically, the title, I overheard my wife talking to one of her best friends on a phone while I was passing the bedroom. This friend is in a serious relationship. My wife said to her, "Sweetie, remember it's your choice. Don't settle for just anyone." That's the mistake I made. Who knows? Who else I could have had was my very last resort. And now look where it made me end up. Hearing that honestly broke my heart in two. Does she even love me? Why am I being treated as a second base? Am I being dramatic and overreacting? I haven't said anything about it since. I honestly don't know what to do, but hearing her say has really made me upset.
Around this age, I notice that people are getting quick to want to settle down and be in long-term relationships without any serious consideration for them because they start realizing that we're truly in adulthood. I'm 24 too, and I notice there's a lot of pressure to get serious about life, and people always ask about marriage, relationships, kids, etc. She probably felt pressured to get married, not saying pressured by just in general. Maybe she saw a lot of her friends get married, so she decided that she needs to as well. Maybe she didn't want to feel left out. Maybe she wanted the attention from social media. Who knows? She sounds pretty vapid, and she's only gonna regret putting up through this. I hope he looks into getting divorced. Definitely not just your circle. It happens in friend groups and families. One of my relatives got married a year ago, and ever since, it has felt like this unspoken seriousness settled in, and everyone is starting to think who's next. That's why people settle. They end up feeling pressure in their quarter-life crisis. People end up making rash decisions before they turn 30. Interesting. I'm in my 30s, and in my friend group very few of us got married until after 30. I actually started dating my now husband at 22 towards the end of college, but even just being in a serious long-term relationship was not the norm for my social circle, and we ended up dating for 10 years, and living together for 8 years, before getting married. In my friend group there was definitely no pressure to settle down in your early or mid-20s, and with 24 firmly in my rear-view mirror, it does seem so young to feel pressure to pick a last resort, but maybe that's just mostly the benefit of hindsight and being well past that age. I proposed to my GF when I was about 24 because, well, yeah, I was crazy about her, but also yes, society kinda puts pressures on us from all sorts of angles to get married. She turned out to be a lesbian or bisexual and cheated on me, and now I can't really believe that I proposed to her. But at the time it seemed like a great idea, and we were going to be together forever. Damn man, that's fucking stone cold. Someone who loved and respected you wouldn't say that, man. I would tell her you hurt her and are done, but that's me. I couldn't continue being with someone who was only with me because they wanted stability and didn't care about me. Dude, listen. I'm really sorry this happened to you, but this is a legitimate, no exception deal breaker. You cannot marry this woman. This is the rest of your life you are talking about. You are young. You may not see it now, but I hope you do eventually. There isn't even a choice here. There is nothing to salvage. Consider it as her breaking up with you. She's only going to backtrack and start minimizing it. I expect how old this view means you don't respect the other person. Never mind love them, you are a placeholder of regrets and words can't be unsaid. How can she now prove to him that those words were not true as if they are? They kill the relationship there, and then talking feels necromancy on this one. I agree with this exclamation point, but safety net the talk a therapist. Admit you know in therapy. Having a therapist will help compartmentalize feelings that spur thoughts which evolve to words. They create a barrier between you and any thoughts or feelings from either side which may derail the conversation. What you heard was brutal. Your self-esteem should be handled with great care. With the same amount of care a historian handling a 1,000-year-old Bible has. Your wife will be incredibly shamed and feeling probably extremely guilty when she finds out you overheard her. This could turn her incredibly defensive. Sometimes when we are defensive we feel incredibly angry because we are exposed. She will be embarrassed and attempting to defend herself emotionally. This attempt may or may not make you feel like you're invalidated, and that could make matters worse. There's just a low chance that this won't explode when discussed. Even if it doesn't, you still need tools and help with moving past what was said. I would have no problem ending a relationship over this. It'd be one thing if they got into a fight and she said that in a moment of anger to hurt his feelings, but she didn't even know he was there, so you know she was being honest. Them being married does complicate things, and I'm not a fan of throwing a marriage away on a whim, but I don't see how it'd be possible to move on from something like this. She literally said she wouldn't be with him if she could have found someone better, and that he was her last resort. How do you go about fixing that? If she had feelings for him, but they were going through a rough patch, I'd say maybe a marriage counselor would help, but it doesn't sound like she ever wanted him to begin with.